me, you know, from the beginning of the season to now, just what you've seen that's really started to click and flow with these guys?
Well, I mean, and I've responded to this over the years. I mean, the games I played on paper, but the paper says our trajectory is going up. I mean, it kind of motivates me a little bit to go back to think that if we just line up correctly, we're 5-3. So we might have hit a little bit more of a trajectory in Cedar Falls had we, not had the self-inflicted. So I don't live in that. I just learn from that. But that's kind of a motivator, knowing that, man, that those things are under control. I think we've controlled more of the controllables as of late, not just in the 3-game swing the last 3 weeks. It was good to get the first road win. That's what we were chasing. We hadn't had one all year. We would have had one, in week 3 of the season, but we didn't get that done because we had some laundry on the ground because we didn't line up correctly. So that almost hurts more when it's a pre-snap or a post-whistle infraction. But it's been good. They stayed focused. We're on the back half of the season, having 6 on, and then bye, and then 6 on again. Like it shouts coaches, it's a little bit different now because we had camp, then 6 on, then 1 off, and now 6 on. It's not 6-1-6, it's camp 6-1-6. So we've got to do a good job of continuing to push ourselves, but not push too far to be as fresh as we can the last 4 on the regular season schedule. So it's nice to be back home, being on the road, and we gotta entertain the fans that'll show up at 51 degrees and it's raining and 50-mile-an-hour wind. So the true fans will show up on Saturday, as they always do. The weather gets colder, and when the weather gets colder, I expect those guys to play better. Because the better we play, the more active the fans are, the warmer they stay, and the longer they stay for the game. So it's good to be back home, and we'll get a good week of practice coming back from our first road win. That was our first day game too, early game outside of Bozeman. So we haven't had one of those in a while. So it was nice to get out of bed, get some food, play some ball, and we did a good enough job to get out there with a 3-point win.
I know it's maybe easier to take lessons in losses. What lessons can you take in wins to make sure that even though you're on this next streak now, to not let it get to you and drop a game?
Yeah, I mean we've done a lot of self-reflection since January. It's not just in season where we're looking at that stuff. We've had a ton of mental strength training from Ryan Sawyer. He's been a big part of our push from January on. So it's not just a seasonal thing; it's an annual thing. My challenge always is when you coach them harder. A lot of times, a lot of people look at it differently. That coach them harder when they lose. You're probably hard enough if you're competitive enough to probably be hard enough on yourself after a loss. So I'm always trying to push the coaches to coach them harder. Make things more relevant. But I think this team is young enough, humble enough, and gracious enough not to get in our own way. And I think sometimes that can be good, being young, and sometimes it can be the exact opposite, because maybe young and winning gets you foolishness. I don't think this is where this group is at, or where they intend to be. And so through 8 games, I think they've taken losses and wins and compartmentalized enough to be able to self-reflect and unit reflect and team reflect, much like us coaches, to realize we can be better, we will be better. It's just a matter of practicing and preparing to truly be better when it counts most, really, when they're keeping score for 3 hours on Saturdays.
No game in the Big Sky is easy, but Sac State, especially a good program, and on their way out to the Big West last year. What does that mean to get to go against them and have this sort of last ride in this conference road?
I'll tell you what, it's a huge challenge. They're a juggernaut. I mean, they flat out get after you on offense. They come after the quarterback on defense. They got speed all over the field. They get the ball to many different people, so you can't just locate one. They've got 4 backs that can go at any point. They got receivers get behind DBs all the time. We've got our biggest challenge on both sides of the ball is the line of scrimmage. We've got to create a new line of scrimmage on offense, which we didn't do last week, especially in that second half. But then defensively, we've got to illustrate and create seams in that offensive front. That's a talented offensive front. And if they can protect and we don't get close to the quarterback, it could be a long day. They're going to establish the run from play one and probably continue to establish the run as long as they can, be a top 10 in the country, rushing yards per game. They got 4 guys that can tote the mail, so they're all fresh when they get the ball. They've landed on a quarterback that has been very consistent as a starter since early in the season. They feel good about him. They'll run him when they need to, but really they got 4 guys that can do it without him. So they keep him fresh, along with keeping those backs in and out of the game. Give you a ton of formations, play up tempo, ton of motions, and they do everything. I mean, it's not just the kitchen sink; it's like the kitchen as a whole. And so we've got to do a really, really good job of bringing people down and not being fearful of closing the distance on ball carriers and ball catchers because they can do a lot of things that a lot of people can't do when they get the ball in their hands with a ton of space. So we've got our work cut out for us. I welcome the wind, I welcome the rain, I welcome the cold on Saturday to Roos Field at 102, just from about 1 to 4, and then after that it can be sunshine and rainbows. But we've got a big challenge in front of us in the most important practice today. The most important game is this week. That's the way we've kind of attacked this whole season, no matter who's in front of us.
You're talking special teams earlier and the importance of them. How big have they been for your team to have a punter that's able to pin an opposition as deep as he's able to do on a consistent basis?
Yeah, I mean, I get to meet with those guys. I coach specialists, so now the world knows, taking zero credit, kind of the go-between guy. But it has been special, and I have, in my 9-year tenure, I've coached special teams players, I've coached special teams units. I've tried to do what's best for the team. I think there's a connection, knowing that I was a long snapper, so I'm not just someone that threw the ball or caught the ball or tackled the quarterback. That I've actually been in thousands of special teams meetings over the years as a player and as a coach. So it's a little bit more special to me, Mike, to be able to see Landon Ogles get the success after the preparation that he has. He's chased the NFL probably since he was in JUCO. Didn't get the opportunity to play at Fresno, and we welcome the opportunity for him to play here. And he, since he's got here, he's been a staple. He probably leads the nation inside the 20 kicks. I don't know, he's at 19 now. We've punted extremely too often, but as many times as we've kicked, he's been effective in about 2/3 of the kicks that he's been a part of. And so he's not just a one-trick pony. He also can kick from the tee, kick from the ground. We feel like Connor McKee and Soren McKee kind of hold those spots down so they can kind of specialize a little bit. But to be able to talk to those guys about protections, to be able to talk about, and I learn more from them than they learn from me in terms of how they approach things, what drills they do, what steps they take, how they walk kicks off. So it's kind of I kind of get to be a kid again when I get to talk to those guys. I'm probably more excited for those meetings than they are. But as a core four, Coach Bruce has done a great job. Get those 4 units playing at above the line level all year, and then not to mention the 3-block unit with Coach Johnson. I mean, Isaiah Perez got 4 tips on the year, 4 blocks on the year, and actually tipped a ball this last week in Ogden that got him within 3. And so he's just got a knack for finding the ball when it's kicked off kicked off the ground from the kicker's foot. So we've been opportunistic, and that we've needed that because we've stumbled a little bit in some of those situations. When we lack in one or we're great in 2, we kind of make up when we're losing in one of the 3 arenas. So been fun to watch, and we welcome any success in Landon Ogles or any of those specialists have, or those teams that actually, we work extremely hard on special teams here. We take a lot of pride in special teams.
You mentioned the importance and the fact that you were watching the game last week, really good drives into the first half, second half just kind of ground to a halt. How do you address that and get them back on track with what they did in the first half in this game Saturday?
I'll tell you what, I mean, our average starting field position was at 37, and theirs was just shy of the 25. I mean, it was almost a first down and a half difference. What we didn't do is get points throughout the course of the game with a great field position. Part of that was because Landon was putting the ball inside the 20, making them go long distances. But we've got to be way more opportunistic. We got to capitalize on those things. It starts on first down. As simple as it sounds, our first down productivity has been very, very mediocre at best in the last probably 2 to 3 games, 2 in particular, which means all of a sudden, third downs, you're starting at 8+ about 80% of the time. It's hard to get third downs converted anyway, and then all of a sudden you need to go 8 yards against some really, really stout defenses. That makes life difficult. We don't have the greatest third down percentage in America. We're actually really, really poor in percentage. But again, go back to we don't play the game on paper. It's a team game, so there's 2 units that have picked up that slack, and that's kind of been the approach we've taken this year. That where we may lack in one, we're great in 2, so we've got a first down production is a must. Getting Nate Bell in a flow, creating some type of running game. I was kind of joking on Sunday. 40 for 30 sounds like a documentary. Well, that was our rushing attempts and yardage. I don't want to do another documentary this Saturday. I'm not really interested in a sequel to a 40 for 30.
Looking at the 3 games in a row won, it's all been games where these teams have tried to come back in the fourth quarter, and minus by 1 point with the Idaho game, were outscored in the fourth quarter, but it didn't matter. Ended up closing it out and winning that. What do you have to say about the fortitude of your team to be able to have all 3 games that were all really tight and be able to stop them from coming back all 3 games?
Well, it's crazy because the last 3 years, 1-score games, I think were, 3 and 10 or whatever that number is. Each year is a new year. Each week is a new week. We found ways to win 1-score games, and we've done that the last 3 weeks, as a matter of fact. Now, 2 of those weeks, it could have been more than 1 score. But what I will say is, and I really truly feel this way, it's a lot easier in sports to play from behind because you play looser. You got nothing to lose. So sometimes the hardest time in sports is when you're ahead to either extend the lead or keep the lead. We want to play free. We want to play ahead as if we're behind. So that's kind of been the approach. We just haven't been able to get there offensively to be able to get that 14 or that 17-point difference. But like you said, the fortitude of the defense, the last 2 weeks, we've won it on defense. In the last year's game, 1 at home and 1 on the road. Those are confidence boosters. We know results drive believability. It doesn't predict the future, but it can give us a good indication where we can look back and reach back and go, we've done this against Idaho. We did this against Weber on the road. So I think you have to have those situations to feel like you can reach back to what happened, to lean at each other, knowing that it has happened, to drive that believability.
Andrew talked about playing with joy. How much of a point of emphasis has that been, and what does that mean to you?
I don't know if it's in my dictionary.
He credited you, did he not?
We kind of ran with that. I felt like they were put too much on their own plates a little bit. Eat as much as you want to put on your plate. And so about a month ago, we kind of conjured up the idea of just play joyful. Don't worry about end results. We always talk about process oriented, all that stuff, but just add an ingredient of joy to the process. And you watch those kickoff units. Enjoy themselves, they celebrate, and it's authentic and organic. I just think that's the way most of them are 18 to 20-year-olds on this team need to play freer and to be more successful. And it's worked for us the last month. And so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But every once in a while, if we're getting too joyous, we'll throw some Coach Best shade at somebody because we want to play confident. We don't want to play arrogant. But we definitely don't want to play with service level confidence because all of a sudden that breaks. We got nothing to fall back on. So not only joy within, but joy for others. When other units make plays, let's celebrate together. Let's not sit on benches and look at iPads and stare at things that don't allow us to celebrate those joyous moments with our teammates.
Coach, you talked about in the preseason about making turnovers, but also, so you guys were +3 last game. What does that mean?
Huge.
To you not only force them, but not give them away either?
Well, we got to keep it number one, but of those 3, you got to realize 1 sealed the game and 1 started really the game for us. So there was 3, but again, you look at the paper, there's 3, but if you said that was going to be a 2-yard run by Jared Taylor after the first muff punt, and then an interception to seal the game by Ambrose Marsh. Those 3, 2 of those 3 are huge. So it's not just getting them; it's when you get them. And this season, We've been pretty opportunistic about the ones we get, that they're in big moments where they seal the fate of the game. But if we would stay the plus, we're trying to claw back from a -5 2 weeks ago. Now we're a -2. We're at 0. We were a wash last year overall. 7 taken away, 7 given away. If we can push the envelope to get to +3, +4, +5, I bet you most teams that are +6 or 8, 10 at the end of the year are probably ones with winning records. I mean, takeaways are huge. Red zone touchdown percentage is huge. Third down and fourth down percentage are huge. And if we can be better, more consistent one, it was awesome to see those 3 last week. Jalen, another pick. He's had, I think, 4 or 5 on the year. And they're not by luck. They're by preparation and skill set and taking advantage of the situation they've been put in, and they've done a great job. So if we could trend that way and be +2, +3 every week, boy, that gives us a little bit of wiggle room if in fact we stub our toe.
Reed's son, he came in the offseason, led the team in tackles against Weaver. What just sort of you think how's he factored into the defense being successful?
He just plays sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone. He just runs. He just plays. He plays free, plays physical. That's what he wanted to do. He came here to play. He hadn't played a ton, so he's got a lot of tread still on his tires. And so he's going into his last year, and he's playing his best ball, and he's playing kind of really his first ball. But he's playing so consistent, you can't take him off the field. So we're kind of a 3-backer rotation for the most part, and he's played most of the reps at one of the 2-backer spots, and he's earned it. He's a silent leader. He's not a loud guy, but I tell you, his style of play is respected by his peers and by myself. So it's fun to watch him play and watch him do the things he's capable of doing.
So I know that obviously a lot of season left, but just because this came out an hour ago with the Big Sky football schedule for next season.
Came out before an hour ago.
I did? I don't know.
I couldn't say anything, though.
Sure lied to me, so.
No, came out to you.
Okay, that's true.
Some of us are on the
That would
inside.
make sense. But just about having 9 conference games and just talk about that, some about how going from 8 up to 9.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing we'll see on the West Coast, probably most coaches will echo in our league, it's one less non-conference game you have to schedule. It's already scheduled. It's a built-in schedule. It's hard to get those games, and if you do, you got to go home and home, and you got to travel first, or it's a one-off, and you got to go there. So knowing it's a 12-game season, now 9 built in, kind of the old school model, 11-3, or 11 with 8 being league and 3 being non. So trying to score one more non-league game is really, really difficult on the West Coast, especially if we want to keep it at the FCS level or above, which I'm still again motivated by fall 2021. Not playing one of our non-leagues as an FCS or above game. So I think it's great for the conference. It's an unbalanced schedule. You're not going to play everybody, but that's been the case. But the first game next year, it looks like might be a league game. That may be a thing. So maybe that's good for camp because your first game's a league game for some of those schools. So the Big Sky Conference did a great job putting this together methodically, the right way, putting pieces where they need to be, communicating to all of us coaches, athletic directors, how this could go or may go or probably will go to keep us in front of it. But I think it's great to only have to schedule kind of old school wise 3 non-league games, especially on the West Coast. It might get crazier, when you're playing 9 and it's unbalanced, but it's already crazy playing an 8-game unbalanced. So we welcome those teams that are coming into the conference, but we'll cross that bridge here in a couple months.